Kudash, 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 Adonai, Elohim, Sabayah, meaning holy, 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 Lord of hosts, Yah, He, Ba, He, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, as a collective whole, creating the tetragrammaton. In the beginning, Elohim said, let us create them in our image. As above, so below. The macro prosophis above and the micro prosophis below. All right, today we're about to get into the Holy Tablets. This is Tablet 2. It's called The Creation. Okay, we're going to jump right into it because it's a lot to read. So we're going to get right to it. Hold on. Let's jump right into it. Creation. And, all right. It says here, let's get to Tablet 2. Tablet 2. Lo, in the very beginning was the Word. Existence was this Word. Creation came after nothing would exist if Anu, Elion, El didn't create it. In order for Anu to create, he must have existed. If Christians say that God is the creator of all things, or the Hebrews say Yahweh is the creator of everything, or the Muslims say Allah created everything, then Yahweh, Allah, or God must have existed. So there's existence before creation. Nothing was created except by the way of Allahu Akbar. He, Allah, who originally was known as Anu, and was and is and will be the intellectual lecture, the speaker of the word that exists in the beginning, or simply where things began, from hydrogen on through the elements. Overstanding these points where things sum up to something, and existence predates creation and darkness, predates light as ether before the lightest hydrogen is weighed to have a sum, and from ether on into triple darkness. The root of all thinking, that is, 1. The state of quarks, the first degree of darkness, first degree of nothingness. 2. Biops, the second degree of darkness. And 3. Zeles, the third degree of darkness. The weight of the sum of things, or of a thing, pre-weights nothingness, yet it exists. Knowing these truths is called right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding. He was not always the green solar light, but created himself into a green light to be witness of his creation as El Eloah. And if you know, the green light is the color of the heart chakra. 4. El Rab, sustainer of glory, illuminating the green light of Mikael from himself to rule Malakua. So the green essence of presence was necessary for identity, and that identity was ruler. El Maluk, which is the third point in existence and the third attribute of Allah. 1. El Rahman. 2. El Rahama. 3. El Malak. Michael, Marduk, being the highest of all the rabbis of the Anunnaki, the Elohim, the crystal essence, which is the splendor of beauty. Light is a manifestation of energy, detectable, not speculated, but calculated. So, Anu meaning the Most High, manifested himself, the uniform in form, to be detectable and logged in what called time and space, and that energy began as light, a color in light, which is the presence of a sum, and the color green is growth, as in life through herbs, vegetation, and trees, the land, and allergies of the seas. The color green is conceived between the blue seas, water, and the color yellow. Sun rays, the fourth color of the prism, the fourth point in growth or creation. The mental plane, the crystal essence became divided into two parts. One was extremely pure and luminous, however, the other appeared to the vision of the intellect to the inferior to the first. The first was called light, the pure green light, the light of the Anunnaki, Sarafat, Seraphim, those agreeable beings, growth. The second was called fire, the impure amber light, the light of the Anunnaki, Garabat, cherubim, those disagreeable beings, destruction or consumption. Of the first that is to come are the noble and superior individuals, the souls of El Nabuyat, the news bearers, El Rasulat, the apostles, El Mashu, El Hadad, El Majaduk, and the people of the right hand, the righteous people. All agreeable things are created from the green light of the benevolence beings concealed. The Anunnaki Yahwehans, called simply Yah, Sarufayat, and did manifest green. But in time, as the iron replaced the magnesium molecules in the blood, the pure melanin was lost. Thus, from green to rust, your color did become. Of the second fire was created the malevolent being, revealed the Illuminati, which are the genies, the disagreeable Anunnaki, the disagreeable Yahwehans, called simply Way, who are the Garubayat, a race of disagreeable Anunnakis who were created before Kataman Zakar. These are followers of Tarnish or Shakar, the Luciferian. One third of these beings from Ilyan were cast from their home in the 19th galaxy, where the Akasha records of all agreeable acts are kept, as opposed to Sinjin, where the Azaret record of all disagreeable acts are kept, to make a new home in the Orion star constellation. The disagreeable ones made their homes in Betelgeuse, Rigel, and Bellatrix. That's funny because NASA just put out a report the other day that a star named Betelgeuse is about to explode. The cycles. The first cycle was a dot in the universe. Then that dot became a line. The line became a wall. The wall, this is where you get your dimensions from, became a square. The first dot split like a daughter cell into two. The second dot formed the circle by completing one cycle around to itself. None knows saves itself where the circle begins and ends. Then it begins to spin to form an orb. Thus 360 degrees, 3 and 6, it makes 9, of square and 360 degrees of circle. The circle was turned inside out and placed within the confines of the square. This was accomplished by first dividing the circle into 4 parts. Geometry was created and dimensions were formed. Geo, qua, and metre, measure. The square that you know on this plane is not the same as its counterpart on the spiritual plane and the plane of force. These planes are not perceived by the ordinary human eye. The energy which was confined in the square tried to escape. It pushed upward, outwards, and downwards. This constant friction generated heat to the degree that the square could no longer withstand. An explosion of enormous force occurred. This event had not yet been manifested on the physical plane as the birth of the universe, the formation of stars, galaxies, and planets on the physical side. When energy beings manifest atoms, they make up atoms, which then become compounds and elements as opposed to physical beings. Atoms who manifest and make up cells, which becomes organisms and bodies. When the Anunnaki Elohim hum of 360 degrees split into 2 beings of 180 degrees each, meaning the disagreeable is on the outside. If the male child is agreeable, the female twin counterpart is disagreeable. If the female is agreeable, the male twin or counterpart is disagreeable. The one must conquer the other to become agreeable or to become a child of light. Imperfection that was clicked on in the darkness of perfection. And this way was the disagreeable being created, calling them twins. Every person born was a twin. One defeated the other, and that is how each of you were born. This is called the concept of survival of the fittest. And they teach you that in health class about how all the sperm cells fight to get to the top. The concept of survival of the fittest begins from the very moment sperm is ejaculated into a vaginal canal. Each of the 77 sperm cells are ejaculated and races to the ovum or egg of the female to fertilize it. Only one of the 777 sperm cells survives the journey, beating out all the other sperm cells in a normal birth. Normally, conception occurs when one egg released from a woman's ovary is fertilized by one male sperm. 7 out of 10 pairs of twins result from a woman releasing 2 eggs, which are the fertilized quite independent by 2 sperms. Fraternal twins, usually the 2 eggs, the implant, and develop separately in the uterus. Less commonly, 1 egg fertilized by 1 sperm divides, resulting in 2 developing babies with the same inherited characteristics, identical twins. Often this division occurs after implantation in the uterus. Monozygotic from the word mono, from the Middle English, from Old French, from Latin, from Greek, from monos meaning single, alone, and zygote meaning yolk, which is derived from a single fertilized ovum or embryonic cell mass. This usually happens with the identical twins, in which it occurs after fertilization and often after implantation in the uterus. As a result, twins almost always share a placenta although each has its own cord and bag of water. Fraternal births are dysgotic, meaning having two zygotes die, two zygote, which is a cell formed by the union of two gametes, especially a fertilized ovum before cleavage. From Greek zoogatos, yoked, from zung, gone, meaning to yoke derived from two separately fertilized eggs. There are also polyzygotic fraternal twins from the word poly, Greek palou, from palus, meaning much, many, and again zygotic from zygote, which are births that are caused by fertility drugs. They arise from two or more fertilized eggs and may be from either sex. Fraternal twins have separate water bags and cords and separate placentas as well. Occasionally, the two eggs implants close together in the uterus so that the placentas become fused, and it looks as though the twins are sharing the same one. So each time an agreeable Anunnaki was born, whether male or female, his or her twin was to be disagreeable. The creation of the Luciferians order, or jinn, also genie, was the end of the first cycle. The beginning of the second cycle was a half diameter of 7,000 years, in which you have what you call the angelic beings, be they agreeable, Sarufayat, or disagreeable, Garubayat. They, the race of the Natas, were cast down from the fourth plane, the mental plane, and made to dwell on the second plane, the plane of force before their physical form. Eloah, the source, gave them rule and comfort until the end of the second cycle, or the 14,000th year after their creation. At the beginning of the third cycle, which took 7,000 years, you have the disagreeable way, Garabat, the agreeable Yah, Sarufat, both of which are called the Yahwehans or Jehovahans. You also have the process of the Adamites, or the 14 generations before the completion of the Adama project in the laboratory in Sidonia called Shem-T, the Lamun Mars project, or the Sphinx project. This genetic breeding and splicing chromosome tampering is that which gave birth to the Cadmon, called also Zakar, and even Adam. These Yahwehans or Jehovians were both personifying into the physical form to come to the planet Earth as physical beings, for there was no place found anymore for them in the fourth plane, the heavens. For when the Wayans heard the news of the creation of the Adma project and the prototype that was laid before them, they created much war and mischief in heavens. This war is recorded in the scriptures, Revelation 12, degree, 7th verse, and there was a war in heaven. Marduk and his Rufayat fought against the Drago Halal and his Garabats, and the Seraphats did win. So there was no place found there anymore in Orion for them. And the great dragon, who was Halal, which I told y'all about the other day, is a reptilian, son of Shakar, was cast out. That old reptilian. See, in the Bible it says that old serpent of old. This says that old reptilian. And we know reptilians come from the Draco constellation, called the devil, that serpent which deceiveth the whole planet earth. He was cast out into the earth, and his Garubats did personify with him. After that, the Na'atas began to do disagreeable acts and disobey El Eloha, the head Yahweh, the most high deity of all the deities, the source, and he condemned them. Na'atas, also called Lucifer, was an extra being on Terra, or what you refer to as extraterrestrial, astral, or extraterrestrial. The Luciferian order came out of a group of extraterrestrial beings called the Yahwehs, sometimes called the Jehovahans. The Luciferians would interfere with the beings on this planet called Earth and pass themselves off as gods. The Luciferians, after taking their independence, were allowed to work with the Yahwehians together as one time to conquer certain portions of this planet. But one such Luciferian named Halal, son of Na'atas, or Shakar, wanted to rule all the stars of the heavens, meaning all the Yahwehs. Leviathan, the serpent people, one of the IHC reptilian seeds, OI, the Luciferians have been trying to gain control GYERTLUS planets for many thousands of Earth years. They are called the Sesperi force, also called Rorne. They are able to seduce and deceive all those with desires on earth, turning lust to luster. IHGRGBY attracts and G and controlling all with its JSNEKAYBAW was seduce the Leviathan's power of lust. It is the death of divinity and the birth of mortality. That's why the Intergalactic Confederation quarantined the planet. Enough and type entities were looking for freedom from the control of the Luciferians. The Intergalactic Confederation would remove these forces from Earth. That's what's about to happen now. You know, that's where this divine intervention is going to come, and that's the second return. They're coming back. They're returning. They're coming back as a collective whole. It's the council. This is what they don't tell you. Yet humans, spelled HUMIMS, love to lust and lust to love, expressing energy and motion, overexerting their emotions, bringing about their spiritual death. That's true. Your feelings and emotions will be the death of you because you're not thinking with logic. Prudence means good judgment and common sense. There is a group called Satanists who are not the same as the Luciferians. Their other names are the Divines, or Nakahashites, or Kanasas. These Satanists are more sadistic than the Luciferians, whose leader was Lucifer, also called Na'atas, which is simply Satan, spelled backwards. Interesting. They are also called Shayatan hymns. They have supplanted themselves in every facet of life that you can think of, and now they have the naming yourselves after them. This is what we know on earth as the Illuminati, the illuminated ones, those in high and wicked places, principalities, rulers of the darkness that are running the planet. The Satanists seek mind control and dominance, while the Luciferians seek to control the energies of others. They are best described as vampires who draw energy from others, basically draining you, tapping your energy out, bringing you to a low vibrational state with their ideology and devil philosophies. The Satanists seek mind control and dominance, while the Luciferians seek control the energies of others. They are best described as vampires who draws energies from others, also called Dracula, Dracos, Dragos, or serpent dragons called Leviathan. These Luciferians are from a planet called Maladek, the 11th planet. This planet called Earth even has Luciferians and Yahwehians, and some of them are disagreeable Allahum. They don't usually work together. However, they will come together if there are common interests. The Yahwehians were the original 24 elders, which you know as in the Bible. 24 elders that sit upon the throne, which are Anunnaki, which are, Melanites. There were 12 ex-Luciferians, the dissatisfied. The other 12 were agreeable Dianeers. That's why you have 12 satisfied and 12 dissatisfied. 12 and 12 makes 24. Shakar, who is also called Humbaba or Zuin or Tarnash, subjected all of them, the Jehovahans called Luciferians, to the chastisement of eternal damnation, except for the weak ones of the family of Elohim. These he had pardoned and have appointed one of them, Hala Ishai, to be their governor, and he granted them a new law called religion. That's where you get your religion from today. It was other than Nuwabu, sound right reasoning. So this is not the original spirituality. The religion that people follow today, it's not it. When the cycle elapsed, the wicked sons of Shakar or Tarnish blasphemed and committed disagreeable acts because their nature was intended to recalcitrate or to show defiance. A new Alion El, the Most High, sent Marduk, the son of Enqua, and Damakina, who is called Michael, and the agreeable beings to admonish them and advise them. However, it was in vain. Marduk was sent because he knew their nature, having been the disagreeable twin to his sister Ba'alat, who was agreeable. So in the beginning of the fourth cycle of 7,000 years, remember I told you seven years is a jubilee. So 7,000, like it tells you in the Bible, a day to us is like 1,000 years to the Most High. 1,000 years to the Most High is like a day. So in the beginning of the fourth cycle of 7,000 years, you have Sarufat, Garubat, and humans, later called humans. Be they agreeable or disagreeable, you see the cycle is broken up into fours. When these disagreeable beings were cast out, 1/3 of them were cast out from the 19th galaxy, Elium, with Tarnish. Now you have the sun and you have the 10 planets. Planet speed up when they get closer to the sun. The ancient Greeks called certain points of the light in the skies the planetae or planet, a word that means wandering stars, and named them after their gods: Hermes, Aphrodite, Ares, Zeus, and Kronos. Instead of using the names of the Greek gods, these planets are now called by the names of the equivalent Roman gods: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Planets shine by reflected light. The planets in the solar system are captives of your largest star, the sun. Like the planets, the earth gives off no light of its own. When a planet shines brightly during the shadow hours, it is reflecting the sun's light. These 10 planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Titan, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which are your calculations of the planets. However, you shall know the truth. Now, let me continue. You have the sim and the planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Earth is the third planet from the sun, which is 93 billion miles away, and the 93rd attribute of Allah is El Nawar, meaning the light. He is called the light of the heaven and the earth, which is the sun. The true light of the heaven and the earth, simply Ra or Re, said Ray as in sun's rays. The sun is the light, the 93rd attribute, and number 93 million miles in distance, and this is no coincidence. The sun is the bright morning star, which the planet Venus, also known as Venus, is often referred to as a star on account of its dense atmosphere